And with that, we bring on the mayor of Wildwood. We really appreciate his time and for him coming on. The mayor of Wildwood, Ernie Troiano. Mayor Troiano, good morning. Welcome to Talk with a Purpose.
Good morning, John. Thank you for the invitation.
Well, I want to say, first of all, I commend you. You're a brave guy. First of all, in these situations, I mentioned it earlier, when we call a person like yourself to comment when there's an issue like this, either two things happen. We don't get a return call, or we get some assistant saying that they're not going to come on. So you've been very forward and very upfront. You returned my call within an hour, and you're here on the show. So I really do appreciate that.
Well, thank you, John. I sat here and listened to the gentleman's comments, and everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Right.
But you know what? It's amazing, unbelievably amazing, that this gentleman – oh, by the way, drugs are sold in every town. So
we know that.
Just bury my town, and I'm sick of being, if this was Ocean City. Like Ocean City, look, Ocean City is a great town.
Yes.
It is a great town, great leadership, great community. But if you think that they don't have the same problems we have, you are sadly mistaken. They're not reported as much as we are. And you know something? If someone thinks that we are worried about drinking on the beach, that is one of the areas of which we police, as we police the whole community. We made an initiative a couple of years ago to add a lot more police on the force because of the drug problems and because of the fact that Wildwood is an urban community. Wildwood is not a seashore community like most of the Avalons and Stone Harbors. We are not a bedroom community. We are the service community here. We have everything to service the guests that come here. And to sit there and say, by that gentleman, that it's okay to drink on the beach. Let me explain to you why the initiative. Number one, you have families and people who live here go to the beach.
Yes.
And you get invaded by 300, 400, 500 kids who drop the F-bomb all around, carrying on, drinking, smoking pot. And here's the biggest thing. Number one, they're not mature enough to understand the ramifications of when you get drunk. And when they go in the ocean and they're drunk and they get swept under, and you know what? I'll make the call that you got a ticket as opposed to calling that family and saying, oh, by the way, sir, we hate to report, but your son went into the ocean and we cannot find him and he's missing.
Well,
and I pray to God hasn't drowned. You know what? If somebody doesn't like the fact that we're trying to protect those who aren't smart enough to protect themselves, you know what? Like the one person said, you have nothing better to do? Yeah, we have a whole lot more things better to do, but we have to protect those who are not smart enough to protect themselves.
Absolutely. Mayor, here's the issue, all right? Here's what I have a problem with, all right?
Yes.
I have a problem with police officers. I don't have a problem in general. I have many friends who are and were police officers, and I commend the effort. And I think I told you over the phone, today a police officer can't go get coffee and somebody's bringing a phone out and taking a picture of him. This is and it's ridiculous in my opinion. But my problem with this is that these three officers, I got a problem with hitting a woman. I really do. Whether you're a police officer or not, I have a problem with it. As a matter of fact, I called out the mayor of Atlantic City on this show because he had a domestic violence incident many years ago. So I have a problem with that. My question to you is, now it appears that you may have a serious public relations problem because you had 7 million hits of this thing. It might be more now. So how are you planning to kind of handle this moving forward?
Well, I'll tell you what, sir. As you've seen, we haven't run away from anything. We haven't.
No, you haven't. I give you credit. Yeah.
We have. Look, what we've done is we've turned this over to the Internal Affairs, the County Prosecutor's Office, Attorney General's Office for review. We're waiting for that report to come back from all those agencies. Once that report comes back, we will issue a statement. If our officers were wrong in how they did it, then we'll take responsibility. And we'll move forward. But what we're going to do is our police chief is going to be instituting retraining. We're going to go through a number of different types of interviews with our police officers. And the thing I think that really bothers me here, but it was a woman. She was a 90-pound woman being beat up by a 200-pound guy.
Right.
Well, let me tell you something. She was a combatant. as more than a woman.
Yes.
Number one, the guy who was wrestling with her, he's 5'6", 140 pounds on a good day. The other officer who grabbed her feet to try to hold her down, his nickname is Toothpick. So, and the other guy didn't get involved. So this was one-on-one. And, why didn't you just pepper spray her? Well, there was kids and people around. So they didn't want to, they didn't want to get anybody else hit with the pepper spray. Number two, well, she was just down there drinking. She's got another girl underage girl in the blanket with her. She's got an 18-month-old.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're going to turn a blind eye. Now, these guys were on that beach all day encountering hundreds and hundreds of different underage drinking. The breathalyzer, here we are being proactive and being criticized.
Yeah, you being. By the way, I believe it was Ocean City. One of the police chiefs was somewhat critical of you carrying the breathalyzer on the beach.
Well, good for him. He's allowed to have his opinion. But here's what it stops. If you know our beaches are almost 2,000 feet wide.
Oh, they're big. They're big. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So that activity is so far away from the populace that nobody sees it. Now, Ocean City, they're right there on top of it. So, if you're on a boardwalk and you see 400 or 500 kids hoarding in a group, that would be a bad image. But when you're 2,000 feet away, you don't see it. So they think that they have free reign. Here's what the breathalyzer's for. And I commend our police chief for the initiative of doing this. Simple fact is, I saw you drinking. No, you didn't. Yes, you did. No, you didn't. I saw you. No, you didn't. Blow into this. It's not the breathalyzer that you would, that blows points.
Right.
This blows, yes, there's a presence of alcohol in your breath. You know what that does? Boom, immediately stops the arguing.
Exactly.
And all they get, this is the ironic part, all you get is a local ordinance ticket for drinking underage.
Right.
And you come to court here, and that's what you get. This young lady, all she had to do was give her last name. Do I condone beating on women? Absolutely not. Let's make that clear as hell. I don't honestly believe that this gentleman was trying to punch her in the head. There's, and you'll have 50 different arguments on this one about, there's pressure points.
Yes. Behind
the neck. When you hit that, it stuns them. The body becomes limp. You can take care of it. I honestly believe, to me, it was more of a chop than it was a punch. Was she flailing around like one girl said? Did you ever try to change a diaper on a 2-year-old that didn't want his diaper changed?
Yeah, that's what it was.
She's flailing all around. Yeah. He hits her in the head right away. He's punching her in the head. This officer was a summer officer last year, and he was a good officer. We kept him through the winter, and we put him down there because he's experienced down there.
Right.
Again, he had hundreds and hundreds of encounters all day long on that beach with no incidences. This young lady chose to ramp it up. Now, someone said, well, why didn't they just walk away? So at that point, we're just going to walk away and let her break the law.
No, you can't do that. No,
everybody says they should have de-escalated and walked away.
No.
Or they should have sat back and waited for her to open up and then get her. We have better things to do than sit there
and then wait for her, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Then it would have been, you set her up. You knew she was going to open it, but you walked away and you set it up and then you came back. All she had to do was give her name, and she refused to do that. The officers didn't strike her first. She struck the officer. And here's a funny thing. Everybody wants to be equal in the world, and I understand that. Equal pay, equal rights, and you know what? It's exactly what we believe in, and I'm 100% in favor of that. But she's a girl.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about a girl with one of our police officers here. We had a police officer encountered a young lady, not a big girl, an average-sized girl. I forget what she was doing. He approached her. She kicked him in the leg. She kicked him so hard, she shattered his leg.
Oh, my God.
The guy was out almost, I think it was close to almost 2 years.
Oh, wow.
He was about a quarter of an inch away from permanent disability, and he's a young officer. So you know what? You don't know who you're encountering.
Right.
So you treat everyone equal. Now, these guys, quote by some of these morons, these rent-a-cops, look, everybody's entitled to their opinion. These are not rent-a-cops.
Oh, you said that. Yeah, you said because you said the one officer, you kept him on the force all year, but that was not reported. It was reported they're seasonal officers.
The Calumet County Police Academy is a 26-week in-house training center. You are there 24/7. and you get very little time off. It's equivalent to going to a military boot camp.
Wow.
And these guys spend 26 weeks there, and there's a ton of guys who wash out because they can't cut it. This is not an easy training center. It's the only one like it in the state. We have officers from up and down the entire state to come to that academy. The only one that's equal to it is the New Jersey State Police Academy. So they're not being taught by Joe Blow and his rinky dinks. These guys are legitimately trained officers, and I'll tell you what, it's difficult. We try to get between 40 and 50 summertime additional officers. It's almost impossible to get that kind of number because you don't get that many numbers that pass that testing.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this, Mayor.
Yes,
the investigation, okay, let's
Yes.
say it comes out and they find some fault with your officers. What will happen? Would you dismiss them? Would they be on permanent desk duty? What would happen?
Well, number one, permanent desk duty. We don't need permanent desk officers. We need police on the street.
Right.
Because our initiative has been to hit the streets hard. I heard that guy 4 blocks away, you can buy heroin, all that stuff. You know what? You can buy heroin wherever you want to buy it.
Right.
No, it's just I can get better stuff in a richer town than I can in a poorer town. But the bottom line is, if they're found at fault, I am sure our police chief will do the absolutely appropriate measure in taking care of the situation. It just seems to me like, there's more concern about you're going to pay. This girl's going to make a fortune. This girl violated the law. This girl's got a history. And somebody said, well, that shouldn't matter. Well, maybe it shouldn't, but it shows a propensity to continue to attack the police.
Yeah, she has 2 incidents, by the way. She's had 2 incidents, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if there's a blog, an Instagram, New Jersey Beaches, where she threw the N-word out there. Why aren't you, Bubba, going after the rest of these on the beach?
Yeah.
But I want to see, why is it that the police, and somebody said, you just blindly support the police. Here's what I do. I believe in my police department. My police department is probably the busiest other than Atlantic City.
Right.
I believe in my leadership, I believe in my officers, and I believe in the training that they received. So am I supposed to sit there and condemn them right off the giddy-up without any due process of the law? Remember, our police officers, the only thing I would say he'd have to say, okay, you're going down. That was not my person. That wasn't
that confrontational. It was
right, really, but she initiated the strike. She pushed the officer. She hit him so hard the camera went off.
Yeah.
What you don't see is her kicking and spitting at the other officer who came in.
Yeah.
So he took her down. She didn't. She was flailing around. She was resisting arrest. The striking in the back. I honestly believe that the officer. Look, this kid's a good kid. We've never had a problem with him. And and if he did punch her in the head, of course, I don't know if he'll ever admit it, but if it's found out that he will, then we will handle it accordingly.
Yeah. Well,
this
that's
is
what
a
I
lesson
thought.
for us.
Yeah.
Also,
well, a question I have for you. You mentioned one of the articles. They quoted you as saying you don't think this is going to hurt tourism. I mean, with close to 8 million now views on the web, do you think this is going to hurt your tourism?
I should say this. Maybe in the heat of a conversation. Look, there's going to be people. I have people that say I will never come to Wildwood again. Or I've canceled my vacation. I've called a lot of them back up and had conversations with them, and a lot of them said, okay, that's a different scenario, because you never look. There's 3 sides to every story,
right?
There's mine and the truth. So you know what? Do I think we'll get a hit a little bit? Yeah, I'm sure we will. But the bottom line is, we why is somebody upset that we're trying to enforce the laws to protect not only the people that are underage drinking, but the people that are around them? I show you an email from a group of people on 26th Street that thanked the police for coming down because the kids were out of control.
Yeah. Well, you've had that problem for years in Wildwood. I don't
know if you ever saw the picture a couple of years ago after they leave the beach, the hundreds and hundreds, even maybe by the time you get done, we take out like 30-yard containers of debris, trash.
Yeah, I believe it.
Beer cans
I believe
and
it.
stuff. But that's okay because they're just down there having a good time. These are just kids that don't, they don't understand. You know what? You're high school graduates. If you're not starting to understand by now, there's some serious problems here.
Yeah.
So you know what? I tell people, if you act like this at home, stay home.
Yeah.
Because you're not welcome. But if you're not allowed to do it at home, don't do it here.
Well, you know what the mentality is today, Mayor. The police lose right away. The police show up; they're already in the wrong. The narrative today. How many times have we seen it with the shootings? But they don't even know what the story is, and they're already protesting. So I mean, that's kind of the mentality today.
Well, you know what, and it's a shame because in life there are let's say there's 100 things. 99 of them can be absolutely outstanding.
Yes,
and that one that's bad, as in a bad policeman, a bad city worker, a bad this, a bad that, they get blown up. In today's world, where for some reason we need 24-hour a day, 7-day-a-week news thrown down our face, they're looking for stuff to report.
Yeah,
and how many good things do you ever see where you get somebody will save somebody? You'll never hear about that. But if somebody pulls a gun on somebody, you're going to, it's just amazing that
makes national news.
Yeah, and you know what? Look, it's an unfortunate situation for all parties involved. But her attorney sits there yesterday and says, "Thank God she wasn't a black woman; she probably would have been killed." If that's not inciting,
oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, I was reported to me by Don Williams at WON Day, this comment he made, and I said, okay, now we're going to inject race into the issue, and race has nothing to do with it.
That's right.
The city, I'll tell you, the thing that I'm proud about the city of Wildwood is that we don't care who you are, what you are. We want you to come down, have a good time, enjoy what you have. We have free beaches here, and I have people that say you need to start charging beach fees to get rid of some of these people. Well, who are some of these people? City of Wildwood opens its arms to everyone to come down and have a good time.
Right. I'm
not going to sit on the top of the bridge and say, yeah, you look like a good family. You can go in. No, you can't come in. Yeah. That's ridiculous. Yeah. And to sit there and berate us for trying to make it safe on the beach, which it shouldn't even be a conversation. But today's society, the law means nothing to some people.
Exactly.
And I'm sorry, if we're enforcing a law and someone doesn't like it, then don't come here.
Yeah. You certainly have enough shore towns you could visit, right?
I'm here. Would you do it in another town? Maybe not. Why not? Because they'll lock me up. But this is Wildwood, and anything goes in Wildwood. Well, if you think that's the mentality in Wildwood, then you don't need to be here.
Right.
Because you know what? We want to make it safe for everyone. And, the reason I sit here is I get the calls about the drinking on the beach from when families come down and say, I'll never come back down. This town's out of control with the drinking on the beach. So you know what? We put an initiative out to try to prevent people who come here from having a bad experience. And if somebody criticizes us because we're trying to stop underage drinking on a beach where someone can drown, and believe me, we've had multiple rescues where people, get themselves where they're not coherent. And if I'm wrong for that, God, I'll be the poster child for that one.
Well, Mayor, we really appreciate your time again. Thank you so much for coming on. Wish you a lot of luck with this situation.
Thank
you, as I said, I commend you. I mean, you took a half hour of your time. I know you're a busy guy, and you were up front. You didn't duck the call. You didn't duck the issue. And I do, again, commend you for that. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, John. I can tell you this much. We will, if it's our problem, we will rectify it regardless. We will be redoing a complete review of our policies, and we'll assure everybody when you come to Wildwood, you're going to have a good time.
Yes. Well, I spent many summers in Wildwood.
Well, thank you,
I can attest to that. Thanks a lot, Mayor.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.